up, everybody? It's Mike with South Shore Detectors. Today I want to make a video on some of the finds over the probably 2 or 3 years that I've been metal detecting. I just started making YouTube videos. I've probably been detecting for the last 2 or 3 years. I think I got my first detector, I think it was at the end of 2014 or beginning 2015, so it's probably been 2 full seasons and into a 3rd season a little bit. So, and I'm here in Northwest Indiana, so I pretty much can get out and detect, just pretty much spring through fall. The spring and the fall times for me, are the best times because I like to hit fields, and that's when I like to get in there and hit the fields before the farmers plant in the spring, and then after the fall for a couple months I can get in there before the ground gets too frozen and try to hit some of those fields then. So, but I just want to show you some of the things that I found, and I found some pretty neat things over the last couple of years. Like I said, I started out with a Fisher F2 metal detector, and I found some pretty cool things with that. And then a buddy of mine, he had a Garrett AT Pro, and he asked me if I wanted to buy it from him. I said that'd be awesome, because I live literally probably 25 minutes from Lake Michigan, and I want to be able to get in the water and do some water detecting too. So, and there's lots of different creeks and streams around me, things like that I would like to hit in the future. So I wanted to have a machine that I could get in the water with and not worry about it damaging the detector. So I haven't really had an opportunity to get out and hit the water too much. I've been to the beach a few times up there, but I haven't really got in the water. And but I found some pretty neat things. But most of the cool things that I found have been either in farm fields or in permissions or yards that I've gotten. So I figured I'll just show you guys some of the things that I've got, and we'll kind of go from there. So hope you guys like it. This is how I would store my finds at first. So I still keep some of the things that I found in it, some of the things that I don't think are that impressive, but I don't know. I got some decent things, I guess, in here. Some of the junk jewelry I keep up in here. Some of the things I found. I've got this earring I found up at Lake Michigan. I thought it was gonna be something good, but it's just like costume jewelry, or it's nothing good. Just a bunch of weird things. This ring I found at a local park, and when I first dug it up, I was like, oh my gosh, but it's junk, and I was very disappointed. So this ring is kind of cool. It does, I believe it says sterling nickel or something like that inside the band. It's gonna be, you're not gonna be able to see it on here, I don't think, but yeah, never mind. But it did say something inside the band, which was kind of cool, I thought. Just a lot of little, not sure what some of these things are. Just kind of neat little pieces. Here's a bunch of stuff like this, little rivets and things I find out in the fields. Lots of these things. Not sure what that is. Piece of lead. I think that's a smashed bullet. It's not very big though. So here's some of my broken pieces of suspender clips that I found. Little chunks of them that they aren't really good enough to put in a display case. They're just, I don't know. Some tokens. This one's kind of it must be with some iron. Pretty corroded. This one looks like it might have been in a fire. But it was pretty cool. Found this one with my friend Todd when he invited me over to one of his spots to go detecting. Some kind of a religious token or something. This is one of those, I think it's one of those presidential ones, like Cracker Jack or something like that, I don't know. No idea what this thing is. Found this in a farm field,
It looks like some kind of a top, like it would have been on a hinge or something, some kind of a top to something. Little chunk of harmonica reed, I find a bunch of those. These are kind of cool. Little teapot set. I found there's like, they're all smashed up, but they're pretty cool. Those two. And then I also found the little saucer, but it's broken too. And I think I found a total of 3. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Here's another one. They were just totally smashed up. The mower must have got to them. Little Jeep. I don't remember if that's a. Oh, that's a midget. It's not a Tootsie. Piece of utensil, probably spoon. Kind of plastic toy thing. Pretty much most of my dug Indian heads that are in pretty bad shape I put in here. And there's my Wheaties over the few years. There's a big old gear, probably from a clock or something. A few more Wheaties I haven't thrown in the tube. This big old hunk of a bell, it looks like. It's kind of cool. Found that in a farm field. This, I wasn't sure what it was at first. Posted it on a Facebook site, and I believe somebody said it would be the end of the handle from like a poker or something like that to do with a fireplace. Part of the top of a lamp, I believe. Another spoon handle, broken handle, and just lots of little. And I've got a couple square nails I thought were pretty cool, in good shape. I don't normally keep square nails, but this was how I initially kept my finds in this, and it worked pretty good at first. But the more I started finding things, the more I needed to upgrade it. So. This thing here, this my little display case, got this at Hobby Lobby, and I'll show you guys some pictures before and after. Put some stain on it. I put some foam in it with some cloth. My first attempt at being crafty. But anyways, in here I've got some of the, I don't know, some of my better finds. Found a few of those. I believe both of these are Tootsie Toy cars, and actually this one is kind of cool. I found this in a yard, in the backyard of a house that I grew up in, and actually my in-laws own the property now and they rent it out, but I actually found that there. Pretty cool pocket knife. It's like mother of pearl or something. It's got like a yellowish color to it, but I'm not sure how old it is. Some of these are the nicer suspender clips that I found. This one, it's actually, I don't know if I can get to zoom in on it. It's got the patent date on it, which I think is pretty cool. This one's different. It says Navy Brace. Found that in a little corner lot where an old home used to stand, and I found some pretty neat coins there too, some older coins. This one's probably my favorite. It cleaned up pretty well. It's still got some shiny to it, and the little tongues move. Got a heel plate, which I thought was my first one ever, only one honestly. Clay marble. I found this early on at a home site in a town nearby me. It was kind of cool. I was digging a signal, and this was in the hole with it. A couple boot or toe protectors. Found those in a old yard that we detected. Part of a crotal bell. Some other kind of, I don't know if that's something to do with suspenders. I'm assuming it's got some design on it. It's kind of cool. Got a couple flat buttons. This one doesn't have a shank on it. This one, it's got some gold gilt to it. You see it says treble gilt. Standard. This one doesn't really have, none of them, they're both no designs on the front of them. And another part of a buckle here. And this, it's a pretty cool find. At first I didn't know what it was, but I'll try and put a picture up with it. This is the, it protects, it's kind of like almost like a hinge, and it would slide, and it protects the keyway on a lock, like a padlock. It slides in front of it and protects where the key would go. That's a pretty neat find. And then here's just some of my coins that a few of the coins that I found. Just some silver, a few Indians in there. This is actually a foreign coin I found in a field not too long. I actually put it on a video, one of our previous videos. Buffalo nickel. So, and then here's my first ever 2-cent piece that I found. The 1864 2-cent. You can see it's pretty corroded, but at the very top looks like it was holed. So, but that was awesome. There was I found it in a spot where an old church used to stand. And then these next 3 coins I found all in the same location, pretty much around the base of a tree. And this one's an 1865 2-cent, and this one's in a lot better shape than the other one. This coin, and it's an 1866, which is a fairly good date. This was a great coin. I wish it didn't come out of the ground, but it's still in really nice condition. And then the 1882 seated Liberty dime. Not in terrible shape. You can see the Liberty really well. It's got some pretty good details. And you can see I found it just a couple months ago. So. Alright, so I just got this case about 2 months ago. Obviously you can see I've got a lot of holes to fill. But here's some of the buttons, other buttons I found. Some of these are 2-piece buttons. This one actually is just the front. The back is not on it, but it's really cool. It's got this like a train design on it. This was pretty awesome when it came out of the ground. A couple other small ones that have some design to them. I'm not sure if they're cuff buttons or what they are. That's not really a button. I think that's part of a snap, but it's got some stars and things on it. Here's I think my first flat button I ever found, but it's missing the shank. For some reason I put an Indian in here. And recently I found this watch winding key, which was awesome for me. Another field find. I love the fields, but this was something that I've seen a lot of people dig, and I've always wanted to find one. So here where I'm at, in Northwest Indiana, we don't have as much of the older history as obviously like the eastern part of the country, but you know, I watch a lot of videos, those guys out east detecting and finding some cool things, and this is one of the things that I've seen those guys dig up quite a bit, and I've always thought it'd be awesome to find one. So, but anyways, just some of the smaller things that I found. So we'll move on to the next. Alright guys, here's another display case that I've got. Some of the bigger finds I'll put in here. These are a little bit bigger holders. So, in one of my recent videos, I got this spoon, and I believe it's silver plated, but I could be wrong. But there is a, there we go. You can see where it's got some mark on it. And then here at the end, it's got some scrolling. Looks like somebody etched it onto the back side of the handle. So I can't quite make out what it says. So I'm not sure, but it was a pretty cool find. I like finding the spoons, and especially one that's got marks on it, which is pretty neat. Found this big old hunk. This must have been from a platter or something, but I kept it because it's got this cool design on it. So, really old piece of pottery. Just a little piece. I find a lot of chunks of these. For some reason, I kept this one. It's got the nice blue in it. Not sure what this is. It's really light, but again, it's got a cool design. It almost feels like aluminum. And the boots. I think you guys might have seen these in the videos previously. 2 separate farm fields. The first one, I found this one. And then at a separate area, probably a quarter to a half mile down the road, this one. I don't know. Strange. Got a couple medallions. These are both sterling. Got this one up. This was up by the by Lake Michigan, up on the beach. I believe this is a bridal rosette. It's pretty big, and on the back it's got like that lead chunkiness to it. I think a part of a suspender clip or clasp. For some reason I put it in there. Same thing here. Actually that little tongue part is broken, but I just put it in there together. It's another piece of some kind of it's got some scrolling and design on it. I think it's to a suspender also. Now this was cool. I found this in a local park, just a town park, and it was right near where a playground was. And it says Ford Exposition 1934. And it says Ford V8, and around the edge of this it says A Century of Progress, Chicago. And did some research on it. This is a bronze token, I guess you will, and it's from the World's Fair in Chicago in 1934. So how it made it to that park near where I live, I have no idea, but it's pretty cool. Here's a medal. This is a religious medal, 1814 to 1914. Something to do with American Baptist Foreign Mission Society. It's pretty neat. Found in the yard where I had permission to hunt. Not sure what this is, but it's pretty cool, ornate looking. Same with this. Not quite sure what it came off of. Same with that. I believe this is half of a locket. St. Louis dog tag. And I'm guessing it's from 1911 just because it looks like 1 and a 1 there. That would be my guess. There's no other writing on it besides what's on there. Public passenger chauffeur license or tag in Indiana, 1940. So found this in one of my friend's parents' yards. They got an old house. Just some little pieces of junk jewelry, I'm sure. Found this quite a while ago when I kind of first started detecting, and it was in a farm field where an old school used to be from the late 1800s. And it almost looks like a little ring. I don't know if maybe this was, and it's pretty small. Oh, and one of the large cents that I found, and this one is the worst. I can just make out that it's a large cent. You can see the head facing left there. I could not get a date off this one, and this was the last of the 3 that I found, and this was the worst. So, all right, got a few more things to show you guys. So here's the last display case that I have. This was the second one I ever bought, and this was just some of the early on things that I found I thought were pretty neat. A couple dog tags. Sorry. There's a 1951 Indiana dog tag, a 52. Found a couple bale seals. Some more pieces of harmonica reed. These are, I believe they're a different type of reed for another type of instrument. I'm not exactly sure what those are. And you can see here's a big piece. Here's another button. This one's pretty corroded though, but might maybe a cuff button. It's pretty small. And then just some other little things. Here's a gold plate, or it's junk. You can see it all flaking off. And I believe this to be a copper or brass ring. Same thing, found it in a farm field, and I think it might have been, it's big enough to be an adult size ring, so I think that's what it is. All right, so these are, I guess some of them are some of the nicer ones that I found. And I'll be honest, when I first started metal detecting, any silver coin that I pulled out of the ground, I put it in a 2x2. It's 1880. There's a 1900. Pretty nice shape. I've only found, I think, 2 V-nickels ever. And this is one of them, in 1899. This was my first ever seated coin. I've got a couple Barber dimes. There's a pretty worn 1898. Got a 1901 O. And a 1912 D. Some Mercury dimes. There's a 1920 D. It's in pretty good shape. There's a 26 Merc. I did find this at a local school. There's a 64D Rosie. This is one of my favorite coins that I found. There's a 1920 Standing Liberty, and it's in pretty nice shape. There's a 1941 S Washington. I think I got that out of a farm field. There's a 42 Washington. And this one's rough, but 1899 Barber half. And I found this one. You can see it's pretty wiped on the back. But I found this one, and you can see I found this one September of 14. This is some of the stuff, a lot of iron, things like this. This is the stuff that I found also over the years. You can see I've got a lot of iron. Some stuff I want to get through electrolysis. This would be probably pretty cool. There's a part of a hammerhead. You guys might have saw this in a previous video, the police badge. This one I probably should put into a display area or something, but so just more, just other stuff, things, some stuff I haven't quite figured out what they are yet. In here, it's gonna fall apart. I've got some, let's see, find a lot of ball jar lids. This one actually, pretty cool one. Look at that, the old B. That's an old one. But a lot of them still have the porcelain in them, in the lid. So, glass bottle. But harmonica reed, bent up. I found a few of these, the old Ford. I believe they're old Ford, like hubcap type things or something. Some spoons, big spoons. This one, that one's pretty cool. That's old. And, oh, I forgot about that. Sterling plated. Huh. Cool. Some little toy mirror. Not sure what this thing is, but it's got a 1893, December 12th, 1893 patent date on it. Anybody has any idea what that is? It's pretty light. Cole Brothers, C-O-L-E. Not sure. But just a lot of things like, I'm sure you guys find a lot of the same types of things. So, big old pocket knife. That's pretty, pretty bad shape. So a lot of stuff like that in there. And then in here, just some other junk, toy cars and little things that I found. And the bottom is, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this out, but some of the big iron kind of cool things. Horseshoe, kind of cool. Looks like hammer hatchet type head. Half of a horseshoe with the nail still in it. That was a pretty cool find. I found a few of those. This looks like it might have been some kind of a, I don't know if it's a door knocker or whatever it is, but and you can see just a lot of other things, iron, some things that I thought were pretty neat. So someday I'll get them cleaned up. So maybe I'll make a video on that and show you guys that sometime. Alright, so I don't know how I forgot to show you guys this display case. We'll start here at the bottom. You see I got a couple full harmonica reed pieces that I dug. I believe this is a broken piece of a Rains guide. And I found this not too long ago. I also believe this to be a Rains guide also, and this might have gone into a carriage or something, bolted into the carriage, and the Rains would have went through there. I just couldn't get that to fit inside the display case anywhere. And then same thing with this. And this is a saddle stirrup. I believe this is a bridle rosette. In the back you can see it's kind of got that like lead kind of chunkiness to it. This here, when I first dug it, I thought it was possibly like a cattle tag or something. I thought maybe they attached it to the ear of the cow or something. But after posting it on some a Facebook site, somebody sent me a picture. I believe this to be a hotel tag, and you know, maybe like a luggage tag or just a door tag or something from a hotel. So I think that's pretty awesome. And I found this in the same little site that I found a seated dime, 2-cent piece, Indian head, that stirrup, and a couple other cool things. Got this out of a farm field a little while ago. It's got a heart-shaped design on it, and I think it was an old brass buckle. And I've got a picture of this that I found, I googled, and I'll try and throw that up too. So really cool find. Got the back of a pocket watch. It's got some writing on it. You may not be able to see it too well. This word down here, it says Liverpool on the bottom. My one and only thimble, and it's smashed flat, broken, but still, it's so cool to find those. This little bell, I don't believe it to be too old. It's got a little bit of design on around it, and it says India inside. No little dinger. Now this is one of the first kind of cool things I think I found when I was detecting. And I live out in the country, and there's an empty lot right next to me, and this all used to be farmland where I live. And when I when I first had my first detector, my Fisher F2, I was messing around next door in that lot, and I got a really good signal. When I dug this up, had some shiny, it was shiny, and I was like, wow, what is this? This is pretty cool. And the first thing that I thought it was maybe like for a keychain or something, you know. But after doing some research on it, and you can see it looks like it has an I, an H, and a C around it, the initials there. And on the back, there's a bunch of writing. But what this is, it's an old watch fob, and it says International Harvester Company of America around the side. And so some farmer probably just lost this when he was pulling his watch out or something. I did have the luck of finding 2 Croto bells so far. This one is a number 2. That was actually the second one that I found, and this one was the first one that I found. Kind of hard to hear, but it does have the little thing in there. It's a 0, I believe. And this one was in the front yard of a nearby town I was detecting in. Now this thing here, I found in a farm field, and I found it in the same spot where I found some really cool, I found a couple large cents in that field. I found a couple buttons, a skeleton key I'll show you here in a second. But it's got some, you can see there's threading inside that hole there, in the back of it. And so I did the same thing. I posted it on the Facebook site, asking some people what they thought it might be, and I told them what I thought it was. And I got a lot of people responding back saying, no, it's not part of a gun, but it's the top to a black, or part of a top to a black powder flask. And this would be the part that sits on top of the flask, and you would turn this to let the black powder come out. And the reason it's got threading inside here is because you could thread different sizes of nozzles into there for the different amounts of black powder you wanted to pour out. So that's a pretty cool find. I believe that to be somewhere mid 1800s to late 1800s possibly. My one and only skeleton key I found, and it's unfortunately it's not complete. I believe it's the end's broken off, but still, that was an awesome find. I've got some tokens that I found over the years. These are some of the nicer ones, I think. We were on vacation in North Dakota a little while ago, and did some detecting out there, hit some old homesteads and stuff. Well, I found this in one of the old abandoned homesteads out there. It's from Weidman Brothers, Ventura, North Dakota. And it says good for 10 cents in merchandise on the back. So it's a Palmolive token. It says Palmolive Peat Company, Chicago. I was out detecting with Todd over by his house, and got one of these Prosperity tokens, 1932, Milwaukee. It's good for 10 cents. It's not really a token, I guess it's a prize medal. It's awarded for men's fine shoes. So that's kind of different. Just a bunch of different buckles I found, I think, that are kind of neat. Alright, so I found 3 total large cents over the couple years I've detected, but these next 2 are the nicest ones that I found. And these 2 I found in the same field, and they were only about 20 feet from each other in the same row of corn in the cornfield. So this one here, I could not get a date off of it. I believe it's a matron head, I believe, but the back is just, I love the green patina on it. So it was really awesome. This one's in 1849. I can get the date off of that one. You can still definitely see a lot of the detail on it. So I was super thrilled to find both of those. I never really thought I'd find a large cent. And then to find 2 in one day, it was crazy. I also found this in that same field, and I hope you can see this. At the very bottom, it's got an 1860 something date. I can't really quite make out all of it, but there's believed to be, it's George Washington sitting on a horse there. And it does, I believe, says first in war, first in peace. And I got another image I found off of Google of this, so hope I'll try to put that on this video also. But I believe that's to be it's a Civil War token. Now the back is really tough to make anything out, but when I did shine a light on it, you can kind of see some of that writing around the edge of it, and I believe from this angle you can kind of see it. It does say Elkhart and then in IND, Indiana. So I believe all the rest of this text in there, it's probably from some store. And last but definitely not least, excuse me, same farm field as those skeleton key, the black powder flask top. I found this. If you can see, Abraham Lincoln, it's got a hole in the top. 1860 is the date on it. It's got some like wreaths around the side of the date. On the back side, it says Hannibal, and I believe it's Hamlin, with the same thing, the same date on there. Same thing, I Googled this up. From what I understand, this is a campaign token that Abraham Lincoln would have been given out during the 1860 his campaign for presidency. And so from some of the local history that I've talked to some people and heard about, when Abraham Lincoln was running for president, I believe he kind of traveled around the Midwest, and he came somewhere near where we live, and we're traveling by train and stopped in a nearby town. And you know, I can only just imagine maybe this had been in his hand and he was passing these out to some of the local residents, trying to get them to vote for him for president. So the fact that this could have possibly been in his possession, that just kind of blows my mind, and I think it's just really, really cool. I love history, and to find something like this, I can't find the words actually, so cool. But anyways, like I said, these are probably some of my most favorite finds, and I've only been a detective for just a couple years, so I'm hoping to find a lot more of this kind of stuff. So I hope you guys like seeing these things, and hopefully we'll be able to make some more videos and find some more cool things and actually show you maybe some live things that we get when we do find them. So thanks a lot for watching, guys.